All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another fabulous edition of 1 Million Cups. Thank you for those that joined us on the stage and joined us on Facebook. We are masked up, we're mic'd up, we're ready to go. And a little bit change of plans today. I know last week we announced that we had Living Legends Day and we were streaming in from Fargo. We're not doing that anymore. That's been postponed to a later date. So luckily we've got a couple great speakers today. One is an update from a previous speaker and a new project that I'm really excited to hear more about. So I was also handed a note today for some of the national days. So I'm just going to read off some of these. Some of them are actually pretty timely. Number one is Bra Day in the U.S. only. Hagfish Day, Medical Assistance Day, Medical Assistance Recognition Day. That's pretty fitting right now. Pumpkin Cheesecake Day. Love pumpkin stuff. Reptile Awareness Day. Not sure what to do with that. Support your local Chamber of Commerce Day. So actually, yeah, we have Catherine here, and the project that we're hearing from is partnering with the Chamber of Commerce, now EDC. So I know they're pretty picky. You want to say EDC, so we'll make sure to say that too. All right, well, let's get through some housekeeping. We have a lot to cover today. Remember to use hashtag 1MC for any questions you have, and we will ask them throughout today's session. If you have not, I have the clicker. I forgot we made that change. Okay, if you've not downloaded the app, please do so. And if you do have it downloaded, please check in. We'd like to track who is here in attendance. Also, we track that nationally throughout the whole nation and all the 1MCs that happen throughout the country. Thank you to our sponsors, as always. They allow us to do this every Wednesday, keep the lights on, give us coffee, allow us to bring up all these speakers and share this time with each other. Any newbies in the audience today? Never been to 1 Million Cups? Okay, bunch of old wily vets today. Okay, great. Well, since you already know what 1 Million Cups is, I'll kind of summarize it, but bring up a couple entrepreneurs or community sponsors on the stage, and they share an idea or their company, and the idea being, how can we change the face of our community by sharing 1 million cups of coffee with each other? Okay, here's that hashtag 1MC for your questions. Quick reminder about the job board. This is a newer initiative that we've implemented this year. So the first Wednesday of every month here at 1MC, we have a live job board. So if you have job listings, please come up on stage and list those, or send us a slide and we can actually get that up on the screen as well. Okay, let's move on to some community announcements. I know we have a few today, so if you have something, please come up and I'll hand you the mic. And maybe we'll start with the Women's Business Summit.
Hi everybody, Lakin with the North Dakota Women's Business Center. It's so good to see you all. We have an incredible Women's Business Summit coming up. This is our 9th annual. We went virtual this year for obvious reasons, and we've got over a dozen speakers lined up to present. One of the cool things that we have been able to offer this year is, typically in the past when you attended in person, is you were only limited to 3 breakout sessions, right? So you could go in person to 3 of 9. And now we are giving you the option to have access to all of them. So you'll have access to the recordings post-event, so you can watch at your leisure. So again, over a dozen speakers. It's pretty incredible. And the lineup, there's something for everyone. So if you're a professional, if you're a woman in business, if you're a mom at home looking for a little inspiration, this is for you too. I could go on and on for days, but check us out. November 10th is the event. You can find tickets on Eventbrite or at ndwbc.com. And there's something pretty cool happening on Thursday. So you missed out on early bird tickets, but watch us tomorrow. I'll be on the news, 9:45. Catch me there, North Dakota Today. Next slide, I think, is for me too. Yeah, business builders. So building a home-based business. Wendy is going to talk about how to do that on November 3rd from 3:30 to 4:30. These are free events for all. So again, another virtual. Check it out, ndwbc.com/events.
Thank you, Lakin. I'll take this one. So this is COVID testing sites. Every day of the week you can go in and get tested. I did see a quick note. I think the Monday and Friday ones got canceled due to weather. So you have, I guess, today today only. So there's a couple, one in Bismarck, one in Mandan, to go get tested if you'd like to. Okay, over to Mandy.
Hello. The last time I was here, there were like 4 people in the audience. So it's really fun to see everybody, and that was back in August. So I am Mandy B. Anderson with Rama Team, and back in February, my business partner and I gave a presentation, and I think somebody had asked, maybe it was you, who had asked me a question about how we want to get our message out into the world nationally and internationally. And I made the confession on this stage that I wanted to be a New York Times bestseller someday with a book called Dangerous Hope, and that I wanted it to be a TED Talk. Well, it turns out I was accepted as a TED Talk speaker for Bismarck this year, and then it got postponed. So instead of waiting a whole year to get this message out, I took advantage of an opportunity when a publisher, a founder of a company called Publishizer, they're a crowdsourcing campaign for authors to get their books in front of publishers. They reached out to me several times this year, actually, to see what kind of books were inside of me that they could help me get out into the world, and Dangerous Hope was one that they really latched onto. So I am currently in a crowdfunding campaign for 30 days to pre-sell 500 books and get this message in front of publishers. So hopefully it can be published by TEDx next summer. So I am looking for corporate sponsors who are willing to pre-order 25, 50, or 100 copies, and in return get some really great value, such as one-on-one coaching for either themselves or their leadership staff, as well as leadership training for their team, either in person or virtually, and even keynote speaking if you have an event coming up that you know of where you need a speaker. So if you could email me at mandy@ramateam.com if you want to talk about that. I have until November 11th at 11 a.m. Central to sell these books. If, let's just say, if you're thinking, okay, but what if it doesn't happen? What happens with my investment? If that doesn't happen, we actually have plans to self-publish this book, so it will be ready by next summer. So it will be a book either way, but that's what we're looking for as corporate sponsors. You can also go to dangeroushopebook.com to check it out, and even if you want to pre-order 1 or 2 copies or 5 for yourself, you can do that as well.
Thank you, Mandy. That's okay. Don't need a slide.
Good morning, everyone. Nathan from the Chamber EDC. I don't have a slide. Apologize. I was busy celebrating Chamber Recognition Day today. So, but thanks for the EDC shout out.
I got you. I got your back.
Got to talk to Marlo. Change the name of that day. Anyways, the Chamber EDC is co-hosting Business Startup 101 over in Mandan. We're hosting it in partnership with the City of Mandan's Business Development Office. It is next Tuesday, October 27th at 6 p.m. This is a free event. It's over at the Baymont. It'll be in person and virtual, so you can check it out virtually if you're not comfortable coming in person. You can register for the event online at thecityofmandan.com, or you can catch me afterwards or contact me at the Chamber EDC. That's fine too. And I can help you get through that process. We're going to have a resource panel with our very own Tyler DeMars here. It wasn't my idea. And a few entrepreneurs as well, an entrepreneurial panel talking about do's and don'ts for starting your own business. So come check it out next Tuesday, October 27th. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Nate. Okay, we're going to kick off our one of 2 presenters today with a couple that is not a stranger to the 1MC stage. So we'll bring up Evan and Ganya to give us a little update on the pumpkin gutter. Give them a round welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's off. Okay, now it's on. Good morning. We thought we'd just give you a quick update. It's kind of seasonal here on our pumpkin gutter project. Pumpkin gutter has been...
It's been mysterious.
Okay, one more.
No.
Am I doing that? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
This is
This is what teamwork looks like. No, I just wanted to mention, I know it feels like we're always bloody up here, but we looked and it had actually been since 2017 since we gave you a pumpkin gutter update. So it seemed like it was about time, right? And it was October, so. Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm ready.
Okay, now we can go.
Yes, go.
All right. I don't know, I think we're having clicker problems this morning.
You're pointing at
I'm pointing to
James'
the right-
head.
I know.
It should work.
All right, so just a little recap for those of you that might not know. Pumpkin gutter's been kind of a side hustle for us since 2006. Actually invented it a little bit before then, but that's when we really kind of hit the market with it, and had 10 glorious years of marketing it, selling it, had a few licensing agreements, got it into Walmart for a season. We had Williams-Sonoma. We had some really, really great experiences in retail with it, as well as website, Martha Stewart show, a whole bunch of different things. We had tried to obtain a patent and a trademark way back then, and we're unable to. We kind of hit and this is for a lot of people that might be thinking about products too, just some inside view, but I think we hit the patent and trademark office at a time when they had really scaled back the number of patents that they were allowing. I think they had gotten the pendulum had swung a little too far the other way to where they were granting virtually everything, and as a result, and we were seeing this with client work too, you'd have two patents that would look almost identical. Yeah. And so patents are hard enough to defend anyway, and then when you throw that in the mix, so they had kind of swung the other way and said,
Yep.
no, we're not going to patent anything. So anyway, we weren't able to get a patent for reasons that didn't make sense to us, or a trademark for that matter, which was interesting as well. But we forged on, and we were the game in town. So we're going to have to fix this. There we go. So then in 2017, got a call from a friend in the industry that said, did somebody private label your product? And we're like, no, not so much. I'm going to do some batteries. Yay, thank you. And so you can see this is Pumpkin Masters. They're the gorilla in the Halloween market. They're the ones that when you go into any store this time of year, they've got the display with all the carving kits and all of that. Well, they knocked us off. And they didn't call it the pumpkin gutter, but it was identical. You took it out of the package, you couldn't tell them apart. So we sent a letter and said, you really can't do that. There's a thing called trade dress, for those of you that might not know. And that means that patent, no patent, trademark, no trademark, you can't exactly copy a product because it creates confusion in the marketplace. Imagine if somebody were injured with one of these, and somebody's coming at us, there's no way to know, is it one of ours or was it theirs? So we sent them a letter, and we got this nice letter back from an attorney, a large attorney, there were a lot of names, from New York City, basically saying, okay, whatever. we don't care. So we really kind of just rolled over a little bit and said, fine, okay, we're going to keep doing our thing. We're not gonna fight with Pumpkin Masters. I give this advice to clients all the time. If you get knocked off, don't fight it because you don't have enough money. At least none of my clients, and certainly not me. So then apparently they did kind of pay attention to the trade dress thing. So it's really hard to tell, but you can see the blades got a little bit curvy. So I think they said, well, we'll just change it a little bit, and we'll, then at least they don't have that argument. So that happened in 2018, and now this year, just doing a Google search because you do that, we ran across a product that was actually called the pumpkin gutter, at least in the description. It doesn't say it on the package, but in the description, at Target, under their hide and seek brand. So, little ripples that we're creating here, right? We're not getting any of the revenue from those, but we still kind of did that, so that feels pretty good. But so we're kind of left in a position right now with Target. They did violate our trademark, and that's a
We
little
have
bit.
gotten a trademark since.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't mention that. We reapplied for the trademark this year and actually got it granted.
Woo!
So
And I did the application.
yeah. So what we learned is to have her do the application,
Yes.
not an attorney. It's a magical thing. So that's kind of a little bit of history.
Okay, so what do you do when you get knocked off? Seriously, first you get really, I think we skipped denial. We went right past, maybe we had 2 seconds of denial, like, they did what? And then we're mad. right? We went right to that next phase. We're ticked. And so when you get angry and you have a friend like Ben Brick, who's just amazing graphic designer, you say, Ben, could you modify the Pumpkin Masters logo so it expresses our deep feelings about them? And so this is a beautiful work. You can see he's stealing an idea. And yeah, they are Pumpkin Masters, the #1 selling brand. But here they are, the #1 stealing brand. We're probably going to jail after this goes out on Facebook. But anyway, those of you in the virtual audience, purge this from your recordings. You get mad. But then, that's not a healthy place to be, right? And so the next thing we did, if you click,
Our batteries.
is you get over it, right? And Evan mentioned this a little bit too. And the same, Ben, while he was designing our angry logo, also said, you know what though? People care. People care about the people behind the products that they buy. They care about authenticity. You know, just he said, you know, my advice to you is just be genuine, be who you are, and you know, some people are going to care. And also, Marlo Anderson has told us over and over again that people also, they like the story behind things, right? That's like the story behind all the national days. Well, so this funny little guy, his name is Spencer. He's gone to the compost bin. He was last year's pumpkin. I had tears. But anyway, he was our spokespumpkin last year, and he had his own blog, and he had photos of his little friends, and he's on our R&D team. And so Evan was teaching him about electronics. That's a book on electronics, and he was wearing his little safety glasses because it was very important that he. But anyway, our getting over it is we spent more time on our blog, kind of telling our story. Evan did this amazing video that we have a video ad out on Facebook, and we've just been directing all our sales to Amazon. And, you know, we're just putzing along, and we're doing all right. So.
And then step 3 for us was to innovate. And, you know, we've spent a lot of time in the Halloween space. And one of the things rattling around the back of my head was another product idea. And this is kind of a familiar scene. You're looking at your carved pumpkin, and whatever you're using for a light source is blinding you through your carving. I don't know hopefully that bothers other people, but it's always bothered me. And it's kind of funny. It's another one of those things, kind of like pumpkin gutter. You know, you see. At first there was a scoop or a spoon, and then people made a heavier duty one, and then people put serrations on it, but nobody said, let's put a thing in a drill and get this thing really rocking. Well, likewise with lights, you know, back in the dark times, we had candles, so people would put a candle in, and it would blind you through the thing, and now we have LED lights, and what do? You put it in the same spot that you put the candle. And so I had an idea that would alleviate that problem. So we worked with our good friends at Threefold, and they created this for us. Thank you. So, big shout out to Threefold, and I think Adam had a hand in that for sure. It was fantastic. So we rolled that video out, and Johnny, if you want to talk a little bit about our approach.
All right, so again, for any of you thinking about having a product and having history of getting knocked off, we know that probably next year, maybe 2 years maximum, Pumpkin Masters is going to come out with a light that doesn't just sit on the bottom, right? It's going to happen. So what do you do? You've got this product, you want to come out with it, but you know you're going to get knocked off. So what we've done this year is, I don't know if you see these little guys, but we're 3D printing the bases in-house. We're doing all the assembly, all the packaging. We're just keeping our costs really low and just doing it all ourselves. I've filed for the trademark. I'm hoping I have the same luck as I did with pumpkin gutter, but it's pumpkin gutter, pumpkin gaffer. They gotta allow both, right? We've got a provisional patent filed. We're kind of staying under the radar, pretty low. We're having a very kind of soft opening this year. In fact, you're going to be part of our soft opening, we'll see. And so what we did is we've reached out to past pumpkin gutter retailers, and we've got that video is a Facebook ad that we have, but we're kind of just keeping low profile this first year. And I think, was there anything else I was going to mention?
I think that's it.
So we're just trying to be sneaky about it. All right.
Is that it? Time to go.
One more slide. All right.
Okay, yes, and there are samples of these.
Yeah.
Take a sample on your way out, and I think also let us know what you think. We're still at that stage where we played around with it a little bit last year, but we don't have lots of feedback yet. So please, you can always find us here on Wednesdays, obviously, but at getcarvingquicker.com, you can reach us also through our website. So, and with that, I think we're going to do a little. Maybe it's a random act of art.
This is our random.
And maybe the first one, correct me if I'm wrong, that uses a power tool. So here we go.
I know. Yeah. All right. Do you need help?
No, I think I got it.
All right. In celebration of National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day, we would like to. So if anyone wants to turn this thing into a cheesecake when we're done with it, just come up, let me know.
Any medics in the house, just in case?
Yeah, doing medical training, especially with lacerations. Don't worry, this is going to go fast. Okay, that's my job. That's my one job. Be plucky. All right. Yeah.
My first pumpkin this year.
I know,
Can you
right?
believe that?
We're having a slow start. Okay.
Actually, it's another Ben Brick thing. I think we did an event a couple of years ago, and he came up with that character. It was supposed to look kind of like me, I think. And so we had that, and of course, free graphics are a good thing. We already owned it. So we thought, well, how could we do that? And I guess I think a lot of pumpkin lights kind of do suck, but by putting a vampire on there, it kind of tuned down the suck a little bit. So, but yeah, we debated about that a little bit. It's like, I don't know, that's a little edgy, but yeah. Okay. Public pumpkin carving. It's looking good though. With the name? With gaffer? Okay, so a gaffer, of course, is the lighting person on a film crew. Boy, that was a process. It's like, and I think when we came up with gaffer, it's so much like gutter that it just like, okay, had we not had the pumpkin gutter already, I'm guessing it would have maybe been called something else. And that's something that I think we're open to feedback a little bit on too. Does that resonate? It is a little bit out there, but when you think about it, gaffer, lighting, it made sense to us. So, yeah, any other questions? We're not going to be up here for the Q&A today, so if you have any questions now, it would make Ganya less nervous. How many more pumpkin-related ideas do I have? That's, okay, maybe there's might be a few out there. Lakin. One-time use? No, they're actually a balloon light. So they've got a little tab that you slide it out, and the light comes on. You can slide the tab back in, turn it off. They last like 30 hours or something like that. Great question. That's the one question we've gotten quite a bit on Facebook from the ads too. Yeah, and we have replacements. Yeah. Go ahead. Holler, shout. Do we have the pumpkin gutter anywhere locally this year? Dan's might have some. If not, you can reach out to us, and we'll bring one to you here next week or whatever. What do you need? Gaffer. We're going to be facing here. I'll give you the gaffer if you want. We're going to be facing an interesting position. Probably about next year, we're going to run out of all of our inventory of pumpkin gutters. And the way we order these, we order them by the container load from overseas. And so it's a pretty big step to order a container load. So we're going to have a decision to make. Or do we order more and stay in this game, or do we do something different? So, all right, is that it? All right, big reveal. Lights.
All right, and a little jock jams as well. All right, thank you guys. Thanks, Evan and Ganya. How about another round of applause? Okay. Yeah, feeling pumped up, get some jock jams. Thanks, tech team. All right. Okay. Great, and nobody slip on pumpkin seeds. We don't need that liability today, so. All right, well, thank you again, Evan and Ganya. Awesome to hear that update and the new product as well. All right, let's bring up our second presenters today. So the second presentation we have today is an initiative, a public art initiative with an existing pedestrian tunnel under US Highway 83 / State Street, connecting the North Dakota Heritage Center to Myron Atkinson Park. So welcome Tracy, Heather, Mellissa, and Catherine to the stage.
Oh, far away from you. Hello. Alrighty, good morning everyone from the Heritage Art Tunnel team.
So I am Heather Pitsiladis, and I work with Glance Spa and Salon.
Tracy Miller, I work with KLJ.
This is our artist, Mel. Mellissa Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
And we are part of the Heritage Art Tunnel group. And this is just a little sneak preview. Oh, do you have the clicker thing? Clicker. Of our art. So the destination that we are going to be doing this project is the pedestrian tunnel that goes under State Street right out of the Heritage Center. We didn't even know it was a location until our leadership group, but you can kind of see this would be like the Heritage Center, and you just kind of walk out through that tunnel. It is the Myron Atkinson Park. So we're pretty excited. This is just a little sneak preview of some of the art that we'll get to shortly to talk more in detail about that.
So many of you are likely familiar with the state capitol grounds. They have a really eloquent trail system throughout, and it's a very exciting experience to walk through. They've got the history of trees. They've got quite an experience on the capitol grounds. This pedestrian tunnel goes under, like Heather said, under State Street, US Highway 83. And right now, it's a long, kind of dark, kind of dreary tunnel. And our hope is to build on that state capitol ground experience. So, yes. So you heard Heather talk about the Leadership Bismarck Mandan group. We were graduates in 2019, and each issue day generates some project ideas for capstone projects. And so that's where our team that's located on the bottom there, that's where we convened. There's some real magic about that program that Catherine's going to tell us about here shortly. But the capstone projects that come out of that are typically community-based. And I think this group right here is community-based. I think you guys understand what that means through and through. We were inspired through that program to kick this project off. So when we kicked that project off, we partnered with Dakota West Arts Council. I know they're no stranger to this group. They have some pretty magical team members and leadership in that organization. And it's thanks to them that we were able to put our vision together and kick off this project. Once that project and our vision had started to really take off from Leadership Bismarck Mandan and Dakota West Arts Council, we partnered with an amazing artist, muralist, Mellissa Gordon. So she's here today. I'm very excited for you guys to hear from her on the magic she put into the art. So that'll be coming shortly, and I'll kick it over to Catherine to tell you a little bit about the Leadership Bismarck Mandan program.
Good morning. So my name is Catherine Sprinsnatic. I am the director of Leadership Bismarck Mandan. A bit of trivia I just learned. My father, David Sprinsnatic, was the director of the Department of Transportation when this tunnel was built.
No way.
He just informed me last week. And when I told him that they were working to beautify the scary tunnel, he said, "What's scary about it? We put lighting in it when we built it. Obviously, it could use a little more love." So Leadership Bismarck Mandan is a program of the Bismarck Mandan Chamber EDC. Our mission, our goal is that we're raising that next generation of leaders. So we're always seeking emerging leaders in the community so they can learn more about the community, we can train them up, et cetera, and strengthen our community. It is a 9-month program. And like Heather and Tracy mentioned, the community field projects are the capstone of the program. So in more than 30 years of Leadership Bismarck Mandan, we've had some amazing field projects come out of the program. For example, the Central Dakota Children's Choir was a field project of the class of 1998. The Universal Playground in Mandan was a project of the class of 2014. And then, best of all, the Art Alley was a project of the class of 2016, and our very own Peter Pomonis was part of that team that created the Art Alley in downtown Bismarck. So as I mentioned, our mission is to cultivate those emerging leaders in the community. We would love to see more entrepreneurs go through the program. So for all of you in the 1 Million Cups audience, in person, online, please consider this program. And just to put a bug in your ear, we do have a small business scholarship that we offer every year, so entrepreneurs would absolutely qualify. And if you'd like more information, our website is on the slide.
We're big supporters of this. We love the program.
So as I mentioned, the Arts and Leisure Day of the Leadership Bismarck Mandan program is where this project really was born. But where it really came alive is when we brought Mel on to really help us bring our vision into art. And we're going to hear from Mel here this morning to give you a little detail on the art that's posed for the tunnel.
Thanks, Tracy.
Tracy.
There it is.
Okay, so hi, I'm Mellissa Gordon, and this is our creation that we came up with in conjunction with the Historical Society of North Dakota. And what we wanted to do was take the tunnel and connect it to the Heritage Center, being as it's right across the street. And so what I did was I took the idea of a circuit board or a motherboard and incorporated these little icons based on the art of Charlie Harper, who is one of my favorite artists. And all of the icons are connected with the North Dakota Studies curriculum. So every chapter in that series is represented by the outlines of the different icons. This one is the agricultural one. So the orange is animals, the green is crops, pink is people, the equipment is purple, and it just winds from beginning of time through prehistoric, through archaic, and into modern times. And then this one, the agriculture angle, ends with the products that are made from North Dakota crops. So that's the agriculture side. And then
So while we unveil that side, so there's two sides to the tunnel that we're presenting art for. One side is going to be agriculture, which you've seen, and the other side is energy. So the intent when we visited with Mel was that we capture North Dakota's history in a series of a timeline. And this is what she came up with.
And this is the energy side, because agriculture and energy are the two main industries in North Dakota. And so this is the same, this is based on the same thing. So this is the eastern side at the beginning, and then the modern side at the end there. And then it just moves through all the different phases leading up to the energy industry in North Dakota with the little animals, the petroleum. So petroleum is pink and coal is orange. And then like the biofuels and the renewable energy is green. And, so then it also, goes through the climate changes and everything like that. So it's all of the North Dakota studies in the energy, section. So, yeah.
I mean, let's give her a hand of applause.
Yeah, this is all Mel here.
So good.
So, yeah, so it's 2,000 square feet of cement, and the good news is that it's kind of in a sheltered spot. A tunnel, you could sit under there and work in the rain if you wanted to. Not that we get a lot of rain in North Dakota right now. But so, yeah, I'm thinking it'll probably take about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Next summer, that's what we're shooting for.
Yep.
So.
In our vision, when we met with Mel at the very beginning of this, we really wanted that tunnel to be incorporated as a part of the experience when you visit the Capitol. And so when we got to answering the question of who do we want to come through here, our answer was everyone. And so the way we narrowed it down was that we really wanted students that, from across the state of North Dakota, from the Bismarck-Mandan community, to be able to take this in when they're doing their North Dakota Studies chapter and series. And so that is where we started with our target audience being, I think it's 4th grade where that starts. So we partnered with North Dakota Department of Public Instruction, and they were extremely helpful in helping us tie those together. And as you can tell, the work that Mel put into it, both making sure all of the pieces that are incorporated into the art are accurate and reflective of what's in the studies, and then the level of detail tying it together, making it palatable and implementable for teachers and students and parents at home alike. And so once we pinned down our who, then it grew into family and teachers and educators and community enthusiasts under that overall umbrella.
Yeah.
And so when we were really working through the who of the art, that's when we dove headfirst into the role that arts play in our community. The intent there was to connect the education with the experience of the Heritage Center and getting through that process. But that, when we nailed our who we want in the tunnel, we got into the why do we want them there. We want them to take in that experience and that education, connecting to North Dakota's history, but also connecting to North Dakota's future. We chose the two main industries in North Dakota, agriculture and energy, in hopes that everyone can see themselves represented in that art. And whether you grew up to North Dakota, you visited North Dakota, you're an educator, you're a parent, you're a family member, no matter what, you can see yourself in that art. And that's what arts do for our communities. Not to mention the economic generator that comes with it. We looked into the visitor counts for the Heritage Center, and it absolutely amazed us.
Yeah.
And so our hope is that a portion, if not all of those visitors make a trip through the tunnel and stop at Myron Atkinson Park, pack your lunch, take in our very long North Dakota summer, and enjoy. And our last meeting before it snowed, we held it at Myron Atkinson Park. There was fall leaves around us. It was a little cold, but we'll leave that part out. If you bring your coffee from 1 million cups, you'll probably stay just warm enough to take in that experience. And so last but not least is how can folks help? So we have some really exciting developments that have happened. So we started this project in 2019 at the Capstone of the Leadership Bismarck-Mandan program. And after that, it was kind of a balance of patience and passion. Okay, so we were so much passionate and excited about this program, but planning takes patience and time, and the ultimate decision maker in this case is North Dakota Capitol Grounds Planning Commission. They meet quarterly. They're represented from members across our legislature and across the state of North Dakota. And they meet quarterly, and we have met with them a handful of times. And then, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there's a pandemic right now
crazy.
that happened, which forbid people from meeting in person for a period of time. The excitement really kicked off on October 1st when the Capitol Grounds Planning Commission approved both sides of the art. And the project got the green light to go forward. So then all the planning we did on the fundraising side and the implementation side lit up. So we're excited to announce a few developments. So October 1st, the project was officially approved by North Dakota Capitol Grounds Planning Commission. We've received a $10,000 grant from Capital City Christmas. Yesterday, the Northern Plains Heritage Foundation decided to sponsor our project at $5,000. And we've also received donations from several private businesses and some generous grassroots individuals that have contributed to the project. So I think we owe a round of applause to all of those community partners because we couldn't do it without them, for sure. So with that, that is the quick overview of Heritage Art Tunnel. This team, each one of us, I think could be up here for 2 days. That's how excited about this project that we are right now. But we will turn it over to you guys if you have any questions about the process.
All right, how about another round of applause first? Awesome project. So yeah, we'll move on to the Q&A portion, and we'll get you a mic. We'll figure something out here. Yeah, Tyler has a mic, and yeah, there we go.
Perfect. Hey.
Yep, we'll share a mic on
Musical
this
chairs.
side. And if you have a question, please raise your hand. Again, if you're on Facebook, please write in the comments area. We'll ask that question for you. Just a quick note, I live close to this tunnel, and my wife and I go through it all the time. And it's similar to the alley in Harry Potter. She always thinks there's like Dementors.
Oh, there is. Just wait.
So it is spooky, a little scary in there. My question is, do you plan to address the lighting? Is that part of the project as well, in addition to the art?
So the lighting and some of the safety concerns were actually at the inception of the project. That was kind of one of our biggest concerns. The North Dakota Capitol Grounds Planning Commission has discussed the potential for it, as has the North Dakota Historical Society. The projects aren't programmed, or the improvements for safety and security aren't programmed yet, but it's on their radar, and I do believe it kind of falls in their jurisdiction. The ideal lighting upgrade for the magnificent green that Mel chose would be ideal. It's just not programmed yet.
Perfect. Question in the front.
My guess is that it probably will be once you get that art in there. That's going to help a lot. I think.
That's our hope.
More of a mechanical question, I guess. You know, when you're putting something like this together that you want to be there for a long, long time, how do you select materials and the paint materials and the preparation of the surfaces and all of that? Just because it's going to be a ton of work to make this happen, and obviously you want it to look good for a very long time.
Absolutely, great question. So I have met over the years of doing mural art. I have a number of professionals that I do turn to, you know, with questions and things like that. And Jim Fetter has been absolutely amazing for me. He's a mason. He's retired now, he says, but he still works, you know, here and there. But he took a look at the tunnel and he said, well, what we'll do is we'll seal the insides of it, and then we'll put like a filler sort of a thing in it. It's like an elastic coat, and then they will prime it with a product that will seal the entire tunnel, because there's a lot of water in there in the spring. There really is. And so, yeah, he's been just invaluable. And then I had also consulted Man Signs, and they were nice enough to come down to the location with me and take a look at it. And he's the one that looked at the sides, and he says, you've got a blade going through here. Like a snowplow blade is what they run through there in the wintertime. So you can see the scuffs along the sides of the walls, and we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do now? You know, the whole planning and the process and the ups and the downs, you know, that we've been through the last 2 years. But he pointed that out, but his suggestion was, well, just move it up about 18 inches, you know, miss that blade, and then if you have to repair anything, you know, over the years, you don't have to worry about trying to fix the artwork and the illustrations, just that green along the bottom. So, yeah, it's definitely a community project, and there's so many people that have helped us along the way.
Really exciting what you guys are doing, and my question is on the Capital City Christmas campaign. I was visualizing that park because I grew up in that neighborhood 70 years ago. No, not
Just a
quite.
few years ago.
So have you guys thought about putting lights on all those trees there? I'll tell you what, when the 4th of July happens, you got all of the flags along 83. I think that would be a great setting for lights. And you could do different seasons. The Christmas season, the fall season, and then the patriotic season, red, white, and blue. Just something to think about.
It's a great suggestion.
And Dave, we have talked about, we had talked about a pollinator along there. We've talked about quite a few things, but that hadn't come up before. So we'll call that the
Phase
Dave
5?
Blair
Yeah.
Phase 5.
Phase 5.
You could get some sponsors to sponsor that
bet.
area.
For sure.
I mean, I think it would be really, it would highlight kind of the whole thing you're doing with the tunnel as well.
That's awesome.
We appreciate that. That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
that's a great idea.
So, Evan, I got a question for you.
Wait, he's not up here, Dave.
So, where do you manufacture your pumpkin gutter? China. So, do you think that's where it happened with them taking that? And they're notorious for doing that. And I'm not trying to throw them under the bus, but I'm throwing them under the bus.
That's a great question. That was my first concern because we have a great relationship with our manufacturer there. We've worked with them for many, many years. And I really, that was in the pit of my stomach. So I did some research and found out that it was an entirely different portion of China that it was being produced. So, and there are companies that are just good at that. Reverse engineer this, so.
And you couldn't find anybody in the U.S. to do that?
Not at the,
Probably not at the price point.
exactly, yep.
All right, looks like we have some questions from social media.
Hi there. Yeah, we've got a question. People are loving this, by the way. Thank you for bringing art to this tunnel. So Rebecca Engelman asks, will there be an opportunity for community members to participate in the painting process? Perhaps high school art clubs?
That's a possibility. It's we've kind of discussed different groups and things like that coming in to help with the painting process. So it's definitely something that we're thinking about, but we haven't ironed all the details out just yet.
One, to add on what Mellissa said there, we've also talked about ways to bring it into the classroom, whether if it's coloring sheets or if it's mirroring the art. So then when kids do their curriculum and they have a piece of the art that they've looked at, then when they go to the art tunnel, they can find the piece that they worked on. So we've talked a lot about what those community connections can look like. Beyond just painting or implementation or those pieces, how do we enhance the longevity and bring it right to them in the classroom, social media, et cetera. And so we've got some pen and paper to it, and really looking at the implementation piece of it and how to keep community involved for the life of this project.
And we really do have different phases. Obviously, the art, painting, but then there's fans on the outside of the tunnel. We have fun plans for that. We have, going interactive more into Myron Atkinson. So we're here for the long haul. This is going to be pretty great project.
I have a couple notes and plugs, and I'll get to a question as well. But going through the leadership Bismarck Man program, highly recommend. I went through it as Catherine said a few years ago, and we did the Art Alley project as our capstone. Also, Mellissa Gordon was a part of that project. She did the Sitting Bull mural in the alley, as well as she did the mural on the side of Glance.
Yep.
So she's very experienced in these types of projects and a great asset to our community and our arts community. So thank you, Mellissa, for all your input. Question in the back here. Mark.
You guys have got a great piece of artwork, and you have a great story behind it, and we've just heard that. What would happen if somebody comes from out of state and they see this tunnel? How are they going to know what this tunnel represents and everything that went into it?
So we've had quite a few conversations on this, from how to incorporate technology to enhance that experience, to how to put hard copy materials at the Heritage Center and collaborate with the visitors' experience there. As far as implementation goes, we revised our art actually after phase 1 of the project. We had revised our art to make it more palatable and an experience in itself without the introduction of materials or the process. The taking in the art and being able to depict from the art itself tells a story start to finish in its own experience. Having the materials and the explanation of the process and the overall visitor experience is kind of an enhancement to that. Our hope was that the experience going there as standalone has its value for visitors and individuals. If they want to take it to the next level, take it to the classroom, take it to a day-long trip to the Heritage Center, and get the enhanced experience that comes through the art too.
Is there going to be any description within the artwork as you progress from the beginning to the end?
We've talked about having like a talking board right out the beginning. We don't have anything of that solidified yet. We were just really, gung-ho on October 1st with the Capitol. Yeah. But yeah, we have a lot of things in the works. Molly, who's with Dakota West Arts Council, has even talked about like those talking poles. Like there's just so many opportunities for this project that we're just really excited about.
I think we'd also talked about doing like flyers at the rest areas throughout the state of North Dakota, a pamphlet that would actually have the whole story of the entire art tunnel, just kind of give you a guideline as to exactly what it is showing and where it did come from without, yeah.
And like QR codes,
And the QR codes, I think we talked about. There's just so many. It was getting the approval. That's what we really needed to get first.
That was the big one.
And then it's like, okay, now it's go time.
Now it's on.
There's been lots of ideas flying around, but the approval was the number one thing that we really needed to get first.
Done.
So with that said, Mel's exactly right. Hitting on that approval on October 1st was our really breakthrough, but we are at that point now where community collaboration as far as ideas or implementation or even future implementation ideas, where we can really start to pull those together for the long-term vision of this as well. So thank you for that, and we welcome it from this point forward too.
It's very impressive what you've done up there with your murals. I was curious, what do you think the traffic through that tunnel will be in 1 year? 200-300 people?
Was it 222? So the Heritage Center, don't quote me on the numbers because they don't always stick in. New mom brain's a thing. But the annual visitation of the Heritage Center was like 220,000, which we've really let that number work through our brains in terms of how much of that traffic we'd like to see come through in accounts for North Dakota's 75 seasons. And so we would anticipate visitation being in the thousands, especially with a lot of North Dakota communities coming to the Capitol grounds for visits with the curriculum and the Heritage Center in that field trip day. So we're anticipating visitorship to be in the thousands, and that's our hope.
So the question was, because I was wondering, have you given any consideration to having it replicated at state parks? Replicated at certain museums throughout the state of North Dakota. If there's a museum in Dresden, North Dakota, if there's a museum in Minto, North Dakota, having a replica there and inviting those people who see that to come to the state capital to see it.
So we are fortunate enough to be community partners in this process with the North Dakota Historical Society. And I think they would be a fantastic resource for making those connections. And then along with that, Mel's willingness to disperse amongst North Dakota and incorporating, because like I said, we want North Dakotans and visitors alike to see themselves in the art. So the museums and the visitation points that you've mentioned are a great place for North Dakotans to see themselves in the art. Big communities, big and small, that could present that art in that way.
Absolutely, yeah. with projects like this, it kind of creates a ripple effect. Like
Right.
even Art Alley, we started the one side, and then there was so much interest and so much, people are so excited about, well, why not do the south side too, while we're at it. And, Art Alley has brought in so much awareness of what art can do for a community and the impact that it has and the positivity. I mean, we get pictures from all over the world with Art Alley, and we're kind of expecting the same sort of an impact with this project as well.
Sure.
Playing off what Mark said about how do we create awareness, another thing that you could consider, and that is to having a billboard that shows this when you're driving into Bismarck on 83 or on 994, and just that would depict that. And again, I'm sure you could get some sponsors that would sponsor that billboard. Second question is, what are your other plans right now to move forward, to keep momentum going? I got some ideas for you, but I won't share them with you right now because somebody might steal them. But what are your ideas for the future?
So as you've heard, this team's really excited about this project, and at first we wanted to boil the ocean. Okay, we wanted, we would have painted the sidewalks, the ceilings, the wings, the plant. We really had to hone on what does phase one look like, and what does that implementation look like. So with that said, we focused the two sides of the tunnel as phase one. Then we parted out the ceiling as a future phase. As Heather mentioned, the wings of the tunnel, we talked about having mosaics or some type of art on the wings of the tunnel, so that could be a future phase. We've talked about connection to the Myron Atkinson Park, whether that's a pollinator garden or if that's part of a storytelling along that pathway that lands in the park. So that we would call phase 3.5.6.1. And then we've also talked about the route and lighting and things that go from the Heritage Center to the tunnel. So that was some of the ripples in the ocean. But like I said earlier, we're still all eyes and ears for what the future and the longevity looks like. So we look to our community partners. We look to the community that's involved in this project and that's interested in this project to keep sending them our way, because we will talk for days on this project with you if you want.
For sure.
First of all, congratulations on just a really cool concept and a really great artistic direction that you guys are taking. And really excited to hear that you've got bigger ideas for future phases. That was one of my comments was to consider the potential of those wing walls and as an invitation into that space. And I think that is really critical that maybe you realize the full potential of this idea. So that was going to be one of my comments, but I'm glad to hear that you're already thinking along those lines. The other comment is just to consider the potential of photo opportunities and inviting people to put themselves into the scene and to take a picture of themselves. I'm thinking of senior portraits, things like that. There's places around town that people gravitate to when they're doing photo shoots to celebrate life milestones and whatnot, and this could really be one of those places, especially if you think about that as you think about the future implementation of it, and to incorporate those sorts of invitations into the final full build out of this. So
For sure.
We want that. We
Yep.
want all of that destination piece of it.
sure.
Thank you. We appreciate the comments.
Okay, well, we're getting close to our time here, so we always like to ask the same last question. You covered it a little bit already, but maybe reiterate what we can do as a 1 Million Cups in the Bismarck-Mandan community to help support this project.
So like our Facebook page, Heritage Art Tunnel Facebook page.
So Heather's right on. Right now, we're building promotion of the project and engagement with the project. And with that, we're also approaching businesses, communities, and individuals for donations to the project. Additionally, you heard us talk about Dakota West Arts Council being our partner of the project and being a great source of energy and resources for us in that process. That's an organization it functions because of members that are involved and community enthusiasts that are involved. So I encourage you to engage with Dakota West Arts Council. Becoming an individual member, I think, is like $35 or so. I highly encourage it because it's a fantastic organization that does a lot of really great things for our community. And last but certainly not least, engage with Capital City Christmas. So you've heard us talk about the events that they have and the work that they do, things like Breakfast with Santa and the lighting of the park, of Peace Park, and take your family, your friends, your dog, your cat, your neighbor, anybody, and engage with that organization and the great things that they do and they bring to our community.
Okay, how about one last, anything else? You guys?
We do have on our Facebook page, there is a GoFundMe if you are interested in partnering with us. Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for being here. Awesome project. How about one more round of applause?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys very much.
And thank you all for joining us, either virtually or here at Dakota Stage. Please come back next Wednesday. We have an awesome panel talking about intrapreneur. So innovation within an organization. So please join us next Wednesday. And apply to present. And pumpkin gaffers. Don't forget those on your way out. Have a good rest of your Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. How do you turn